Hello, everyone, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Thursday, October 5th, 2017. I am Michael Juan.
And you thought it was Nathan, but it was me, Dio.
What?
It's a JoJo meme.
You've been watching way too much JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, buddy.
You're actually wrong. I'm watching way too less JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because I still have to watch the original 13 episode OVA for Stardust Crusaders, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure live action movie, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure movie for Phantom Blood, in addition to waiting for Vento Ario whenever that comes out.
Do you really want to get in a competition with me on who has more stuff they need to watch?
No. I'm just saying, specifically for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
okay.
I have not finished that. Yeah.
That's fine. I doubt I'll watch that show. Jennifer watched the first season or whatever, and she doesn't believe I like it. And she's normally right on those things. So, man,
I tell you what, then you're a fool, because that show's amazing. It gets so much better in the second season. Battle Tendency is probably my favorite of all JoJo's, which is funny because a lot of people say Stardust Crusaders, but I'm not as big of a fan. Like, Battle Tendencies is where it's at. Young Joseph Joestar could beat literally anybody.
Sure. Whatever you say, friend.
He beat the ultimate being.
So,
granted, he didn't quite beat him. He threw him into space, but...
So beyond that, since I have no idea what you're talking about, how was your day, sir?
Well, I had to deal with a lot of people who didn't know how to pay their fines on time, so they had their garnishment, or they had garnishment of their PFD. So it's kind of boring.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of suck.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of running and a lot of telling people that they're wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's fun. I saw that you had a potluck today.
It was not in my department. It was in civil, which was great.
But you still got it, though.
Yeah, kind of. It wasn't for me, but
whatever.
It was
nice. You still ate food from a potluck.
It was great. It was pretty great. The fucking curry. Whoever brought the curry needs to know that I'm indebted to you for life.
Why life?
Because that curry was fucking delicious.
Oh, okay. My day was fairly boring, all in all. But it's a day. I've noticed that, I feel so much less productive now that I'm a paralegal. And it's not because I'm less productive. Because when I was in LOA, a law office assistant, so much of my day was just autopilot, automized muscle memory stuff, just plowing through the day, and I'd get a lot of stuff done. Be like, open the mail, process the mail, process
plowing.
Process the payments, blah blah blah. Go to the bank, There'd be a lot of just little tasks I get done. Whereas a paralegal, the work I'm doing is significantly more important. But because it's more important, it takes more time, which means I get less of it done, so I don't feel nearly as productive as when I was in LOA. But it's because I have to put more time and effort into what I'm doing rather than just literally autopiloting through it.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that if I ever do move up.
Oh, it doesn't bother me at all. It's just there are definite days where the only thing I've accomplished that day was answered 3 questions. And that's because I had to spend 2 hours researching each question.
Huh.
But at the same time, that was okay. My supervisors were like, no, that's fine. You did a good job. Those were complicated questions. You got the correct answers. You did everything you needed to do. Good work. And I'm like, I didn't get anything done. But
that's all right. At least they think you did something good.
Yeah, right. I mean, if my supervisors are happy, I'm still getting paid. Sweet.
Really not up to you whether or not you feel you've got something done. It's up to your supervisor.
Yeah. Well, and I have a friend who's an attorney for the Attorney General's office, and she, when I was talking to her about it, she goes, "Oh no, you'll get real used to that." She was talking about how the week prior to when we were talking, she had spent a day and a half answering half a question, the whole day, and part of the next day. Their question was in 2 parts. And she managed to get the answer to half of it.
Ugh.
And I'm like, that sounds awful.
Sounds suck.
But
dude, we had a guy come in who had to pay $4,700 on his restitution payment.
Okay.
Right? For running into a guardrail. His insurance company paid it off, and he had the paperwork that said that they, sent in the check and the check was received, but nothing changed in the computer. And then for 2 years, including this year, they then decided to garnish his PFD. So he's down like this entirety of this PFD and 500 from last PFD, even though he shouldn't be.
Is there a way you can get that back?
Not through me. He had come to me. I then went over to criminal because it was a criminal thing. We had talked. They put me on the phone with someone from the Snowden building. I then talked to them for like 30 minutes. She then told me to email the stuff to her. I then email the stuff to her, and I get nothing back. After like an hour of waiting, I was like, I'm sorry, dude, she's not getting me back. I'm going to have you go over to accounting and see if they can do it. So he went over to accounting, and he was there for like an hour before coming back and was like, thanks, man, I really appreciate that. And I'm like, dude, I made you wait for like an hour.
Hey, some people are just happy there to be any progress.
That's fair, but like, damn.
Anyway, I was about to follow up with another story in relation to that one, but let's go ahead and get some news, shall we?
Yeah.
10.
I'm just going to actually summarize this up as here's another Vegas follow-up.
This is submitted by Samurai Dog to our news.
And there's several articles that I've placed in the show notes because reading one put me onto another. And basically, as the investigation goes on into the Las Vegas shooting, they're finding out more and more information, especially about the shooter. Because the initial report that came out about this guy, the 64-year-old white dude who is a retired accountant, was like, he's so good-natured, there's no way he'd do something like this. And then they like started looking through his records, and he had been buying guns for like years. And it goes even beyond that. So he had 18 guns or 17 guns in his hotel room, and he had this massive hotel suite on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay that stretched on a corner, which is why the two windows that are broken out are so far apart, because it's a corner suite, and also why he had multiple vantage points. The other thing on it is that they found his vehicle parked in the Mandalay Bay's parking lot that had a whole bunch of explosives in it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and as well as more guns and more ammunition. And then they went in, and he has 2 houses, and in both of the houses, they found several more guns. In the last 11 months alone, he had purchased 33 firearms.
All right. So, like, I've been kind of upset with how Facebook is reacting to this.
Well, before we talk about that, let me go ahead and release this other information. He also had booked stays at 2 other two other locations, both in Boston and Chicago, and these hotels would overlook major concerts. The one that is specifically in reference here is he had booked 2 months ahead of time a stay to a hotel overlooking Lollapalooza. And so
So he's been planning this for a while.
Or like scoping places out. There's a lot of things that are raising a bunch of questions. He also sent his girlfriend away to her home country in the Philippines, and he wired her $100,000 to buy a house there. And she was like, "Is he leaving me?" And, well, no, he just wanted to set you up before he did
in a way?
Yeah, in a way. And then the people were questioning, like, man, he was gambling away, like, tens of thousands of dollars at the Mandalay Bay before he did. It's like, yeah, he knew he was going to be done after this. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's like,
I've been really upset with how Facebook is handling this because I see more people talking about how it's a giant conspiracy theory than trying to do anything else.
Yeah, I know, and it irritates the Jesus out of me. Now, one interesting and positive thing is coming out of this is that the NRA, which the National Rifle Association, which most people are like, they're the devil when it comes to guns. They're just the gun people. Like, I don't have anything against the NRA. They like guns. They want guns to, be around and be sold and stuff. It's their lifeblood. It's no different than AT&T wanting the internet to be whatever they want it to be. So, but the NRA is actually endorsing a tighter restriction on a particular device called a bump stock. And Tim Stein in the chat room is talking about how they should get rid of bump stocks. So, I didn't know that bump stocks were a thing. And here's how it works, okay? It's a stock for the rifle, right? And what you do is, instead of pulling the trigger, the way that the pump stock works, think of it like there's a rubber band,
right?
Kind of. You push the thing forward. You push the entire gun forward, and the stock stays against your shoulder because it kind of has like a rubber band system in it. So the stock
okay.
stays where it is, but the gun will push forward, and you hold your finger where it is. So you push the gun forward with a handle to pull the trigger, but when you shoot the gun by your finger pulling on the trigger, the backfire of the gun shooting, because the force of a bullet leaving the chamber, pushes the gun back. So you're using the recoil to shoot over and over again. So all you have to do is hold the stock and the handle close to you, and then push the gun away with your left hand. And as long as you keep pushing, it'll just go pop, 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 pop.
So it turns it almost into an automatic.
Almost. And like when I read about, I didn't even know these existed until I was reading about them today. Like I was like, oh my god, that is terrifying.
That is absolutely terrifying. Holy shit.
All of his 18 weapons he had, 10 of them or 11 of them had bump stocks on them. So he was able to just grab one, hold it up against his shoulder, push forward with his other hand, and it just go pop, 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 pop. They weren't even automatic weapons. They were just utilized in a way that allowed them to be basically automatic.
Yeah, I'm a fan of getting rid of those bump stocks.
So is the NRA, happily enough. Like, it's one of the only actual steps that they have made in terms of restricting guns in any fashion at all. So
I still think people with mental instability should not be able to purchase guns.
I mean, here's the problem, though, is that this guy didn't exhibit any mental instability.
Sure, but that doesn't stop other people with mental instabilities from purchasing these guns.
Like, that's one of the things that's baffling people when it comes to the Las Vegas shooting, is that they can't find any reason for him to do this. He didn't have any history of mental illness, any history of violence, didn't have any motive that anyone can discern.
And actually, that's a large reason why these conspiracy theories are around.
Yeah, and it's understandable why they are questioning it. But at the same time, and this might be a little bit insensitive on my end, but I definitely believe that if this guy was Muslim and had a turban on, even if there was no reason, like everyone's like, oh, he is a great guy, I don't believe there'd be nearly as many conspiracy theories going around.
Probably
If
not.
he wasn't a 64-year-old, nice old retired white guy, I don't believe people would be questioning and putting out conspiracies nearly as much. It is purely because he was a 64-year-old nice white guy before he did this. If it was anybody else, they would have been like, oh, that's just the violent tendencies of those people. Fuck you guys.
It's really unfortunate that this is the world we live in.
And people are talking about these stupid conspiracy theories about, like, there was a strobe light in one of the friggin' windows, and they're like, those are muzzle flashes. And I'm like, you really think your shitty-ass cell phone camera is going to pick up a muzzle flash when this bright-ass light is right here?
I've seen all... It's like, oh, no, they shot from the 12th floor, not the 36th floor. Or there's a guy in the crowd who was firing. You can see it in the corner right there, even though it's most likely and pretty clearly a flashlight.
Yeah. Well, and also they're like, there's no way. There's two that amaze me, is like, there was so much sound, we heard way more than the standard gunshots. It's like it's called an echo, and someone did this really back-ass stupid water math about how the echo and the timing in terms of this one video they found didn't line up with how it should have bounced off. And I'm like, one, I don't believe that you know how echo science works well enough to tell me this. And two, that video is on a shitty-ass cell phone. Like,
I also saw one where it was, it was that you wouldn't have been able to, it was like you wouldn't have been able to fire off that many rounds. Oh, I guess that was kind of what we were talking about. But the bump stock really
makes it a lot easier. Makes it real easy. Well, and the other one I saw is that this guy was 64 years old. There's no way that he was physically fit enough to fire a rifle for 10 minutes straight. And I went, well, one, I went to the rifle range and shot rifles for like 2 hours.
There's also one I saw where it was like, there was a mock shooting at a high school recently that was like a test or something, and one of the person in the crowd had a pair of pants that said Las Vegas. So there was a YouTube guy who was like, yeah, there's probably going to be a shooting in Las Vegas soon. And then a couple of weeks later, the shooting in Las Vegas happened.
God. Well, and the other one, and they're like, even fully trained Navy SEALs can't maintain firing for 10 minutes. And I'm like, one, that's, I guarantee you, is bullshit. And two, I'm like, I'm guessing what you're doing this comparison is firing accurately for 10 minutes straight. But
not only that, but like, if you have enough adrenaline in you, you can lift a fucking boulder off of you, let alone fire for 10 minutes straight.
The other thing is that you don't need to fire accurately when you're shooting at 22,000 people that are in a space the size of a football field.
Yeah, you can just... and you don't even care. You're going to hit something.
Yeah, you're going to hit a lot of people. And also they were talking about, like, there's no way he hit 600 people. Not all 600 people that were injured came from bullets. It came from people just running and trampling each other over. Mm-hmm. So... calm the hell down. Also, like, they found that he wasn't a good shot. There's just when you're shooting the side of a barn, it's hard to miss.
Mm-hmm.
But he also missed a lot. They found bullets in windows of other buildings and stuff because guess what? That's what happens. People just can't accept that some white dude would do this. Fuck you guys.
It very, very well happened.
Either way.
And then Andrew says a very interesting thing. I don't know. I would have to verify it. But he says the one thing almost all of the massacre perpetrators have in common is that they are using prescription antidepressants.
I have not read anything on that, but maybe.
That is the first time I heard that. I don't know. I would have to do some research. So I implore you all to do some research on this.
9.
San Juan mayor wears nasty shirt after Trump calls her nasty.
Oh, this is submitted by Wandering Socrates to Our Politics.
Socrates. So, yeah, Trump was not impressed with the San Juan mayor's approach to his 17-minute press conference and said that she was a nasty lady. So she is now wearing a T-shirt it's a black shirt with
white... Is there
white...
a picture in here?
There's a video of her wearing it, and it's a black shirt with bright white letters, big, bold capital that says nasty.
This is nasty! Oh my god! Dude, I would pay like $16 for a nasty T-shirt.
Yeah. Either way,
I want one. I'm going to go online. I'm going to find one.
Trump has really just cut off his own foot when it came to the Puerto Rico thing. Mm-hmm. Like,
you know, and I mean, like, I hate to say it, but we're going to be talking about it more too.
Well, I mean, yeah, as more things happen, as more things develop, I mean, there have been unofficial death toll numbers coming out of Puerto Rico, things from people not dying from the actual hurricane hitting itself, because people are dying from lack of food, lack of water, lack of medical care, and the numbers are already up and around the area of like 200 to 300. So, it's gonna, yeah, it'll be a topic for quite a while, I imagine. They're not gonna recover quickly. The other thing is that, like, Mike Pence is supposed to go visit Puerto Rico, but again, he's visiting San Juan. It's the capital, and it's the most developed place on the island. If you step out of San Juan, everything is wrecked and is not getting put back together very quickly or very well. Like, if you just look at San Juan, you're like, oh, they're doing okay. If you look anywhere else on the island, it's kind of it's sad.
Yeah, I want more of this to be released when it comes to photos and everything to show the devastation so that people can stop just... I mean, I guess even then people are going to be like, oh, no, it's Photoshop.
I'm sure we'll get photos, but right now they don't have much power and definitely not connection, like a good internet connection. So people have to go there, take photos, go somewhere else, and then get them onto the internet. So,
yeah.
8.
Trump's exorbitant travel costs could pay to send Puerto Rico 128 cargo ships with aid.
This is submitted by Goya Bean to Our Politics.
Yeah. You want to do some numbers math?
Oh, the salt in my mouth is extensive.
So if you want a quick comparison, people love to compare Trump to Obama because they either love Obama and hate Trump or love Trump and hate Obama. Obama in his 8 years as president across his entire travel spent $100 million. Up to this point, Trump has not been in office for even a year at this point, and they have already spent $32 million on his travel. So there's a quick comparison for you. Now, they broke down the cost to send a fully staffed, equipped, and loaded on with supplies cargo ship from Florida ports with all of the fees and everything to Puerto Rico, which is approximately 1,150 miles away. The average cost per ship is just shy of $250,000 per load. So if you took all of his travel, split it up across ships, you could send just around 128 ships.
That's a lot of fucking cargo ships, I'm just saying.
It is. That's a lot of supplies and help.
If only he spent more time at Camp David.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem isn't that he's traveling. Like, that's not a big deal, in my opinion. Like, I think it's good that presidents travel. The problem is that the majority of his travel is to, one, for recreation, and two, to his very expensive resorts that are his.
And 3 also includes most of his family.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's expensive for him to go and do what he's doing where he's doing it. Like, if he went and played golf in, like, Texas, like where Bush did, it wouldn't be nearly as expensive. But he's going to a massive resort in Florida. Yeah. Because of where he's going, it's...
his massive resort in Florida, mind you.
So, because of where he's going, it costs so much more. Hell, it would probably be cheaper if he went and played on his courses in Ireland.
Yeah, but he doesn't like doing that because of the wind turbines that are in the way.
The one that's like way out on the in the horizon.
It's ruining his view. All right.
Yeah. So. Jesus, I hate this kind of stuff. Anyway.
7.
Reported anyway. Anti-vaxxer jailed for refusing to vaccinate her son.
This was submitted by Skank Puncher to our Justice Served.
Now, this isn't saying that if you refuse to vaccinate your children that you are going to go to jail. The reason that she went to jail is because she didn't want her child to be vaccinated, and her father and the child's father did. And they agreed back when the child was born that they would still get them vaccinated, although not as quickly. They would space out the vaccinations. But they still said that they would. Later, she's like, "No, I don't want the kid getting vaccinated." The dad was like, "No, you said we're doing this." And so she is going to jail for like a week. And in that week, the child is going to be turned over to the child's father, and the father is going to be taking the child to get vaccinated.
That's amazing. I'm happy that this child's getting vaccinated because every fucking child should be vaccinated.
Yeah, the judge said that even though the mother was the child's primary caregiver, dad gets a say. You're not allowed to just completely push him out of the decision.
Okay, so this is an important thing because there's 2 distinct types of things that you have to go through when it comes to custody. There is sole legal custody, which one person would get to choose every legal action for that child. Or you can, have split legal custody.
Sure.
And there's physical custody. So there's legal and physical custody, both separate. One parent can have 100% physical custody, but the other parent could have 100% legal custody. It's not common, but it can happen.
That's weird. That sounds complicated.
This might be a thing where she had like 100% sole physical custody, but the legal custody would have been 50-50, which is a lot more common than you'd think.
Oh, I believe it. But it also leads to messy situations like this.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But I'm glad that kid's getting vaccinated. So.
Me too. I really do not understand why you wouldn't want to vaccinate your children. There has not been a single proven case of autism that was as a result of vaccinations. So
yeah, I don't think you can catch autism.
I don't think you can either. But I think they're more concerned that the medicines in vaccinations are causing the mutation to give someone autism.
Sure, I still don't believe it whatsoever.
Also, I'm not sure if anyone has, and I've not done a single ounce of research on this. Has there been a case where people have developed autism later in life?
I don't think so. I think you have to be born with autism.
I thought so. Or maybe like a traumatic event in terms of like a good solid blow to the head or something like that.
I don't think that causes autism.
I don't think it does either.
I'm not sure, but I think it's a thing based off of your chromosomes.
Well, and it's not even that like you're diseased or broken. You're literally just wired just a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's just
sometimes vastly differently, but that there's a spectrum of autism.
Yeah. So either way, like, I don't know. Polio shouldn't be.
Can't. Well, hold on. You can catch autism.
You can?
Yeah, by playing League of Legends.
Oh, damn it! Wait, am I vaccinated against autism? Is that why I haven't gotten it yet?
Nope, you're screwed.
Fuck! I've been doing good. Oh, it's gonna happen tomorrow night. I know it.
Made you lol.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, God, that was... Oh, you should feel bad.
No, Bobby, it's both autism and cancer.
Oh, Jesus.
6,
Over half of new cancer drugs show no benefits for survival or well-being.
Speaking of cancer, this was submitted by Mavia to our science.
Yeah, so what it is that between 2009 to 2013, there was 48 new drugs introduced for the treatment of cancer. Of those, the majority of them over time showed no improvement to someone's survival or their well-being. Now, you ask, like, well, how did they get approved? The idea is that they didn't cause anything negative, and the companies that produced them said, well, they passed clinical trials, which means that it doesn't harm people, so they release it, and then they're hoping to do live trials, live data collection of, we're going to give this to a lot of people that need it, and then we'll see if anything actually happens. And and over half the time, nothing happens at all.
Do they at least let these people know that they're doing live trials?
I don't know.
I would hope so, because it might just end up being a placebo.
Nathan says because they are biologics.
Nathan says?
Damn it, Nathan. No! Tim says because they are biologics and because they target specific genes. I can guess what that means, but I would totally appreciate if you would extrapolate on that a little bit more for us. So, I think what Nathan is getting at is that because cancer is so different in so, like, you can even have the same cancer as someone else, but what fixes something for one person will not fix something for the other person.
What Nathan is getting at?
God damn it! Yes, what Tim is getting at is... And so what it is it's kind of like a really sad game of trial and error and hope and pray that you found something that does have some level of effect, but there's no guarantee that it'll work for anyone in a real use case. At least that's kind of what I think he's trying to say, my understanding of it.
Here's hoping that they do. So, I don't know. Cancer is really shitty.
Yeah, it is.
And there's not much I can say about it, aside from we should be donating to cancer research. There's so much things that we need to be donating to that we just don't have the money for, and it's really disheartening.
Also, just as a note for people...
Science in general. Also
for people that are looking at sending money, whether it's to cancer or anything like that, do just a little, like 5 minutes of researchers who you're giving money to, and understand the vast difference between people that are raising money for cancer research and cancer awareness.
Like Susan G. Komen.
These are very different things. The money given to cancer research is literally to fund the research to try to find a solution. Cancer awareness is purely just to make people aware of the problem. And that's it.
You're like, hey, cancer sucks.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
So just be aware of that difference before
really
you go throwing money at someone.
I feel like more people donate to cancer awareness than to cancer research.
I don't know. I really don't.
I mean, because Susan G. Komen's a huge thing, and she's cancer awareness, right? Or it's cancer awareness, right?
Like I could give you a real jaded response right now.
Well, I mean, of course.
But and it involves people being greedy, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
5,
Dead or Alive Xtreme PC will downgrade boob physics on low-end hardware.
This is submitted by Torta Delini to Are Not the Onion.
Hey, man, physics are really hard on a computer, really hard on a graphics card and a processor, and if you got full-end, high-end, top gear boob physics, whoo, your computer's going to be smoking, and that's for more than one reason.
What's the name of the company that did Neon Genesis Evangelion?
I don't know.
It was like Gen X or something?
Sure, maybe. Why?
There's or Gynax. Gynax, there's a term called Gynaxing, and that's when you take something in manga form or some intellectual property, and you change it to another medium, but you make the boobs bounce so fucking much for literally no reason.
Oh, do they do that in
They do that in a lot of things that Gynax produces. Neon Genesis Evangelion, fucking Kill la Kill, fucking what the fuck is the name of that goddamn one that I love a lot? Gurren Lagann.
Sure.
There's just constant boobs bouncing everywhere. And it's because originally, when they originally started doing things, they were making animated ads, and in order to catch people's attention, they made scantily clad women with boobies flying everywhere. And that was just a thing. Like, Dead or Alive is a huge thing for it. It's just, they spend more time on the jiggle physics than on the actual the fighting physics of the game.
I don't think anything tops Grenadier, though, when it comes to anime and boobs. Have you
I
ever...
don't know. There's an anime. I don't know the name of it, but it's a Gainax anime that parodies Gainax animes, where pretty much nonstop the boobs are jiggling.
There is... So, do you know what Grenadier is?
No.
Grenadier is an anime that focuses on this really tall, blonde cowgirl chick. She has a revolver, and when she runs out of bullets, she jumps her chest, and her boobs jiggle, and bullets fly out, and she reloads that way. And every time she needs more bullets, she's just like, bullets fly out of my boobs, reload. Every time.
I've seen that. No, I learned quite a bit about Gygaxing yesterday in a...
Gynax.
Gynaxing, not Gygaxing. I'm sorry.
So
that would be D&D.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I was scrolling through Facebook, and on I think it was Machinima or GameSpot, they had a video about it, about fan service in anime, and how you really just have to decide for yourself if something's too much fan service.
The problem that I have is if there's a lot of fan service in something that's serious.
Dude, I just get bored seeing all these boobies and titties flying around, like...
Well, like...
I want to see fights. I want to see dudes, like, brutally rip each other apart. I don't want to see tits and boobs.
High School of the Dead. That is...
No.
Well, no,
that's too much.
I know. That would have been an amazing show without the fan service.
So, funny story about High School of the Dead.
Save it for later. We need to keep moving.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
4.
Scotland rejects fracking, citing overwhelming public opposition.
This is submitted by Barnaby Ook to Our World News.
Yeah, Scotland just straight up says, our people don't want it. You're not allowed to do any fracking here whatsoever.
Good. Fuck fracking.
Fracking!
What the frack?
So if you don't know what fracking is, it's a type of oil and gas drilling. And the way that it works is that there's a lot of oil and gas that is in a layer of shale rock. And shale rock has a lot of area in it for that gas and oil to be in. They drill down, drill sideways into the shale, then put little explosives in there, blow up to crack it up a bit, and then the oil and gas flows back out. Once they're done with that, they push a bunch of stuff back in to fill it up, pull their tools back out, and it's supposed to be super safe for the environment. The only problem is that there is no way for them to guarantee that none of the oil, gas, or any of the materials they used in terms of drilling or for explosives don't seep into underground water reservoirs. And so it has a very hidden but potential risk for damage to the environment. And the reason that it's a problem is because you can't prove one way or another whether something bad happened or not because it's way the fuck underground.
I mean, until you try to turn on your sink and fire comes out.
Fire? Just like that. So yeah, good on you, Scotland. Way to listen to your people. We appreciate it.
This is good. It's good. It makes me proud to be a Scot.
3.
Netflix is seeking out risky movies that studios have stuck in development hell for years, are buying the rights, and letting filmmakers finally make their movie.
This is submitted by Uneventful Animal to Our Movies. This is fucking amazing.
So Netflix just raised their rates recently, by the way.
Dude, that like helps so many like shitty comedies and horror movies get made.
That's actually what's being made. Because if you're this particular article looks at Eli Craig, and Eli Craig is the one who made the 2011 cult hit Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh god, that movie's so funny.
There's a sequel to that coming out.
What?
And it wouldn't have been able to be produced if it wasn't for Netflix.
I love it.
He also premiered a new horror movie, which again is a horror comedy, just like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It has Adam Scott, which was Ben Wyatt from Parks and Recreation. Have you ever seen that?
That'd be so funny.
And it's called Little Evil. And apparently he's going to be working on another film in the genre, this time with Blumhouse and Ben Stiller.
I saw that trailer for Little Evil. That shit looked hilarious. Dude, I'm so excited. Netflix is going to be the thing that really helps push horror movies back into screen again. That and it.
Well, Netflix is in this position where they have 100 million subscribers at this point. And each of those 100 million subscribers is giving them anywhere between $8 to $13 a month, depending on their plan, whether it's basic, standard, or premium. And with the amount of money they're bringing in, they are able to put a lot of money towards whatever they want. And with everyone seeing how much money Netflix is making, they're like, we'll make our own streaming service. So, like, Disney pulled all their stuff from Netflix, and they're like, we'll just do a Disney streaming service. And I'm like, I'm surprised you didn't already, Disney. But Netflix is like, that's fine, whatever. We're already awesome. We'll just start making our own stuff. And that's what they're doing. Like, there's like, who wants to make a movie?
However,
we'll give you a bunch of money. You get money. You get money. You want to make a TV show? You get money.
this is not the only thing that they were in the news today for.
What's the other thing they were in the news for?
They are going to be raising prices for everybody in the U.S. and the U.K.
False.
Really? It's on BBC right here.
So if you are at the basic plan, your price stays the same. If you are at standard plan, if you are at a standard level, your price goes up $1 a month. If you're at a premium level, your price goes up $2 a month.
Okay, so I have standard.
So it's going up $1 a month. You're going from $9.99 to $10.99.
I mean, that's still, a thing. Some people will go like, "Oh, I'm not going to pay $8. I'm going to go over to Hulu," even though
Hulu's like $13 now.
Dude, Hulu's garbage. All right, so I have a very love-hate relationship with Hulu because I have a Hulu account, and like I kind of use it for like really niche things. Like Son of Zorn was really good before it got canceled because they didn't fucking handle that properly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it would be a lot better if they didn't do those stupid, shitty fucking ads.
Well, you can pay extra to get rid of the ads, right?
I know, but I'm not going to pay extra for that.
I know.
Fucking a thing that I just watched on Hulu was Atlanta, and Atlanta was goddamn hilarious. It's the new thing from Donald Glover.
Yep.
So fucking funny, dude.
So
fucking Nutella guy. Eat the fucking Nutella sandwich.
Either way, if people do drop their subscription because of this price hike, one, more people are subscribing to Netflix all the time, and two, the price increase alone with the people they'll retain will still cover anyone they lose.
Yeah, that's cool. I like this.
Yep. Go Netflix. I don't have a Netflix account, and I don't know if I ever will, but at the same time, I like what they're doing.
That's good.
2.
Japanese woman dies from overwork after logging 159 hours of overtime in a month.
This was submitted by Ra Gubaba to Our World News. And really quickly, Tim, we have not gotten Michael's rap yet. That is currently
It's in production.
I'm going to be meeting up with Michael this weekend, and we're going to be finalizing it.
Not me, Michael. My ghostwriter, Michael.
Whiting.
Yeah, the other white Mike. And yes, there is a one-time fee to have Nathan shave. It is when we get to $150 a month, Nathan will shave, and $200 a month for the people that watch the video, he will fix that crooked picture behind him. At $250 a month, the show is fully funded, which means that even if I lose my job, the show goes on, and because it'll be paid for completely by the people listening to it. And then after that, it gets a little bit more fuzzy or real stretched out in terms of goals. We don't have the short goals after 250 in terms of like, oh, we hit 300, we'll do a diddle or whatever. They're much larger goals, like things like a Patreon hangout monthly Patreon hangouts for the patrons, additional extra days per week. If you get up high enough, we do eventually promise to give a show every single day of the week, and if we get up even higher, we will do an additional episode every single day of the week. It won't be in this format because there's not enough news to do 2 full episodes like this. It'll probably be something a little bit more short form, but you will still get more content. But those are really far away. Like I think I don't think we say we'll do an episode every day of the week unless we hit like $7,000, in which case then we are quitting our jobs. And it's, I think, $10,000 for us to do 2 episodes a day. So,
Tim says a one-time fee.
So Tim, if you wanna, we would need I think about $55 ish.
No, because it's 150.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're already over 100.
Whatever. Anyway. So it'd be like $50 to get rid of that bird's nest, as you just called it.
Wow, not so bad.
Anyway, back onto this.
I do get some birds with it. Now I'm saying.
So Japan has been again forced to confront its work culture, which Japan has a large problem with people working too much. It is just
Karoshi.
It's just part of their their culture is that you should work a lot. You're supposed to. It shows dedication to your job and your company.
The big thing is you're not supposed to go home before your boss does. That's a huge thing in Japan.
So now, when we're talking about these numbers of hours of overtime, this is across a month. So keep that in mind. It's a number of hours of overtime in a month. So that means you've already worked 40 hours. Any time over that is what they're counting towards. So in this case, this woman she had a heart failure, and they're attributing it to that she worked too much. That overworking and stress caused her heart to fail, and she died at the age of 31. Now, in that time, in terms of what we're talking about, 40 hours a week, we'll just say 4 weeks in a month, that's 160 hours. She had worked 160 hours on top of that, which means that she was working around 16-hour days.
So the Japanese actually have a word for when someone dies from overworking.
Yep, it's called karoshi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure that's how it's probably like karoshi, but I'm bad at saying things outside of being dumb American.
It's also spread in South Korea too, where they have a word called guarosa, which I probably butchered that completely.
Probably. Either way, they're looking at addressing the problem in terms of overworking employees, and it's really just a problem with their culture. But they're looking at making it illegal for people to work more than 100 hours of overtime in a month.
So do you want to know why it's a part of their culture? It's because of America.
Yeah?
Yeah, after World War II, there was a specific guy that went over there. I forget the name of it, but in order to get them to stop being so, sad and dishonored, he was talking to them about how they need to start up their work so that they can really rebuild their nation. And part of his mentality was, you have to keep staying there, you have to keep working past, hours and everything. And this dude fucked up the entirety of Japan's work system because of it.
Good job, guy. Yep.
So it's because of America.
Yeah. So
whoops.
Now, they're trying to set the limit to 100 hours of overtime in a month. That still exceeds what health experts have said is healthy, which they're wanting to set the limit at 80 hours of overtime in a month, which is still a lot.
Well, I mean, you have to start slowly, because they've already started this process where on Fridays, if you go home on time or early, you get paid extra, and yet most people still don't do it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And kind of depressing.
Yeah, it really is. It's baffling, really.
Speaking of baffling, what about babbling?
1.
This bad joke is bad. Google's I can't even compose myself. Google's new earbuds can translate 40 languages instantly in your ear.
I get it, babble. Because it's a babble fish.
Yeah, kill me.
This is submitted by Grill and Nia to Our Futurology.
Yeah, so Google released a new line of products yesterday on Wednesday, and the two biggest things were Google Pixel Buds, which are these new earphones, as well as the Google Pixel 2 phone unit. And the Google Pixel 2, combined with these earphones, is supposed to be able to translate languages extremely quickly when you're talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking amazing. I really want the babblefish.
I really just want the translator. What are they called?
Babblefish.
Nope, not a yes, it is a babblefish, but implant. A
cochlear implant?
No, well, maybe, sure, but anyway, in Mass Effect, because of all the aliens and shit, right? Everyone is given a translator implant in which you just understand the other languages now. You don't have to learn other shit because you might not even have the mouth parts to talk like they do. You just understand them. Mm-hmm. And as long as they have one too, they understand you as well.
I'm just really happy that science is actually progressing to the point where we can make so fucking much of science fiction become reality.
Become just science.
Yeah, we're just like, science fiction? Nah, that ain't fiction, son.
But I really want to get to the point where I don't have to, carry around a device and have it connect to a phone that processes through the internet to translate it. It also isn't in real time still. It doesn't translate super fast still. Like, there's still a pretty hefty delay in terms of the translation, which, I mean, we're getting there, and this is a good step forward, but I want it to just be like, boom. Like
instantaneous.
Yeah, I want...
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
I mean, maybe even in our lifetime.
I hope so.
We'll probably be like 50 or so.
Part of me also hopes that we'll figure out cell regeneration in our lifetime, in which case they'll just...
And I mean... I hope that we can all learn how to do American Sign Language or the sign language of your region, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Listener submissions. Oh, shit! Runner's penis snatches defeat from jaws of victory.
This is submitted by Chadwick via private message. I saw this right before he sent it to me in GIF form, with the dick all out and everything.
So this was actually just from a couple of days ago. A professional runner that was running a marathon in Slovakia who was sprinting as hard as he could during the last leg. Well, his shorts failed him and his junk was just flapping in the wind. Flapping as hard as he was running. Now,
all right, so let me paint this picture for you, all right? It is a flesh-colored, wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Yeah, that's a... Now, that said, he only finished 10th, but that was still pretty good, and he cut 20 seconds off of his previous record time, so he set a new personal record.
Get uncomfortable when you use the word cut and we're talking about penises.
That's right. We're going to talk about something even more uncomfortable in just a minute. Yeah.
You make me sad.
House passes an abortion ban after letting Children's Health Program expire.
This is submitted by Brianna via Facebook.
Yes.
And, that was a very, very good bumper for this.
Yeah. So House Republicans passed a bill on Tuesday that would ban abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. And this is a move the Trump administration says will help to facilitate a culture of life.
What trimester is 20 weeks in?
I don't know. I'm not good at this. Now, here's the problem. Here's the ridiculous thing about this, and this is one of the problems that I have with a lot of the people talking about abortion, is that they talk about protecting the child until the child is born, and then after the child is born, they don't give a fuck anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's their problem. They have to live. Good luck, fucker.
Now,
I didn't ask for a living.
3 days before they passed this abortion ban, 3 days, they allowed a federal children's health program to expire. And they let it expire purely because they forgot to vote to renew it. Because and no one scheduled a time to vote for it at all.
This cements that our government doesn't care about children.
They didn't. They forgot to schedule a time to vote for it because they were too busy working on figuring out a way to repeal and replace Obamacare.
Oh, my God.
So this children's health program is now no longer inactive, removing insurance from 9 million American children purely because they were too focused on removing health care for other people.
This fucking disgusts me.
Like, your priorities are so wrong.
They're so completely fucked up. They're in such a wrong direction. You do realize that when all of these people die, they can't vote for you, right?
I don't know.
That's how you don't get elected again, by letting your voters die.
It hurts me. It hurts me a lot.
This is the American justice system. Not the justice system. The American policies really, really make me sad.
Like on the abortion ban, that's going to be something that's debated and discussed for at least the next 10 to 20 years.
Sure.
It's like the thing about this entire article, they're talking about the abortion ban. The real thing here is that they just let this expire because they were too busy with trying to figure out a way to get rid of Obamacare.
Does this have to go? Does this have to go up to the Senate first before it's a thing, or is the House just unanimously pass it and it's a thing?
No, because the Senate forgot too.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because the Senate had put forth a bipartisan 5-year bill to renew the program, but they didn't schedule a vote in time to actually pass it, so the program expired.
There's so much political unrest that I hope that all of these people lose their seats, because this is absolutely unacceptable. This really shows that they give zero fucks about children.
Hurts me, Nathan. It hurts
They
me bad.
do not care about the next generation. They are only focusing on theirs.
So anyway, Nathan.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
What did you care about in the last 24 hours?
Oh my god. All right. So I had a bunch, but there's this one thing that I'm going to talk about, and it's the only thing I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of unrest between some NBA players.
Sure.
There's an ex-NBA player named Kenyon Martins, and he had this to say about Jeremy Lin. And if you don't know, Jeremy Lin has dreadlocks right now.
Okay.
So he said, "Do I need to remind this boy his last name Lin?" Martin said with a sarcastic face and tone. Like, come on, man. Let's stop it with these people. There's no way possible he would have made it on one of our teams with that bullshit on his head. Come on, man. Somebody need to tell him, like, all right, bro, we get it. You want to be black. Like, we get it, but your last name is Lin. So this is Jeremy Lin's response. Hey, man, it's all good. You don't have to like my hair and definitely entitled to your opinion. Actually, I legit grateful you sharing it, to be honest. At the end of the day, I appreciate that I have dreads and you have Chinese tattoos because I think it's a sign of respect. And I think as minorities, the more we appreciate each other's cultures, the more we influence mainstream society. Thanks for everything you did for the Nets and Hoops. Had your poster up on my wall growing up.
Damn.
And then there's a picture of Kenyon Martin's arm, and it's got some Chinese tattoos all over it, right? And he claims that the tattoos mean never satisfied in Chinese, when really it means indecisive.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, is that literally what it means?
Yep.
Oh. Damn.
I fucking love this. Oh my god. The biggest part about this that I love the most is he's so polite in response to this dude, and then he goes and fucking destroys him with the "had your poster up on my wall growing up."
Thanks for being a douche.
Fucking so good.
Oh.
Just as Tim said, boom. Dynamite explode.
Okay. So the thing I cared about in the last 24 hours, and just so everyone knows, and I fully well understand if you want to check out now, Bernie Sanders put out a column regarding Trump and Puerto Rico. And it's a very well-written letter, in my opinion, and I would like to read it for you. If you don't want to listen to it, that's fine. I understand. But that is what I intend to do, as the thing that I cared about in the last 24 hours. So if you do want to check out now, I understand. We will be back on Monday. Please support us on patreon.com/dailyinternet. So the title of the column is Trump, Fewer Tweets, More Help. Puerto Rico has been devastated. The island lacks electricity, food, water, and fuel. People cannot get the medical care they need, and professionals warn of an impending health crisis. As U.S. citizens, Puerto Ricans are entitled to the same type of response as the citizens of Texas, Florida, Vermont, and other regions of the country that have been hit hard by natural disasters. President Donald Trump should concentrate his energies in helping to rebuild Puerto Rico without attacking the mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulin Cruz. No, Mr. President. When Congress has just passed a bill of defense for almost $700 billion, yes, billions, and is now debating a Republican proposal to award up to $5 trillion in tax cuts to large and wealthy corporations, then we do have the resources to give Puerto Rico the help we always provide to states and communities severely affected by hurricanes. Like many Americans, I am deeply concerned about the inadequate federal response to the devastation caused by Hurricane Maria, which was aptly described as apocalyptic. In the days following the storm, I talked to the mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yulin Cruz, and the picture she described was quite overwhelming. In the short term, working with local authorities, we must ensure that every Puerto Rican community receives food, water, fuel, and other basic necessities that they desperately need. Hospitals and schools must be reopened. Electricity and telephony services must be recovered in each community, and decent housing must be sought for all. In the longer term, Congress must work with the people of Puerto Rico to transform their expensive, outdated, and inadequate electrical system. Puerto Ricans pay double that of most people in the continental states for electricity, and for a service that has been much less reliable and effective. As an island with extraordinary solar and wind capacities, a new energy distribution system based on sustainability and not the expensive fossil fuel must be built. This will not only provide cheaper electricity services, but will allow Puerto Rico to better withstand the future ambitions of nature. In addition, It is no secret that the island has struggled for a long time with unsustainable debt, an astronomical unemployment rate, and high levels of poverty. Let me be clear in saying that the federal PROMESA Act of 2016, which treats the island as a colony, is not the answer. The people of Puerto Rico, through elected officials themselves, should determine the future of the island, not a 7-member junta. Wall Street vulture funds should not be allowed to make huge profits and profit from the misery of the Puerto Rican people. Now is the time for all Americans to join in. Now is the time for President Trump to abandon his insulting tweets, and now is the time to rebuild Puerto Rico. That's it. That's the whole thing. I am tied to somebody who is Puerto Rican, and she is a very wonderful person. I know several Puerto Ricans. They are all great people. I have not met one that was not awesome. They are all awesome. And I have heard firsthand of what it was like in Puerto Rico even before this happened. Jennifer lived there up until the age of 10, and she can tell some stories about how hard life is there because of things like the unemployment rate. You've probably seen in movies about when people would go to the docks and hold their hand up in hopes that they were chosen to work for the day to get money to feed their families for the night.
Gangs of New York. It's like that now.
That's what it's like. And that entire island just got smashed by a Category 5 hurricane. It sucks. It's bad. And I'm sure that none of the accounts that anyone gives can really truly show us the devastation that is happening on that island.
And in response to Andrew saying the problem goes back 20 years, it's not just Donald. The thing is, though, is that he has the ability now to change that.
Yeah, before the island wasn't destroyed. It's hard to rebuild something that's already built because you'd have to take it down first. Well, nature just took it down. All of it. The whole thing. So
now you're left with a bumpy slate that you can fix.
Yeah. And that's the idea, is that, I mean, you're making a joke of yourself and of everybody when you're picking up a roll of paper towels and basketballing it into a group of people that just need help. So if there is a way that you can help, whether thoughts and prayers don't help. If you can spare $5, send that. Even sharing anything in regards to helping bring awareness to how bad the situation is, that helps. Thoughts and prayers don't. I understand that sometimes it feels limiting, especially because at most, the most I can do is contribute a small amount of money and the time on this show, which, I mean, it's not like we're a massive show, but it's a little bit. So that's what I cared about, because Bernie Sanders is somebody who, regardless of his age or his policies and everything like that, for the most part, he's one of the few people in government that get it, that understand. And that's why I do have a decent amount of respect for him. There's some other things about him that I question, but that's entirely beside the point right now. I do worry, though, that Bernie Sanders has hit his I'm unique button too many times to where he's kind of just ignored by the majority of the rest of the government now.
It's absolutely a thing. Like, everybody else that still loves him are definitely not politicians. So,
in any case, though, with that is where we're going to leave you. Once again, if you would like to support us financially, if we have hit $100, which means we have a ghostwriter that's working on writing me the worst white boy rap in history. I have been told he intends to rhyme words like there, and there. So be aware of that.
Good thing shit rhymes with shit.
Yeah, right?
Otherwise, rapping would be hard.
At 150, Nathan will shave his face. 250, he fixes the picture. And 200, he fixes the picture. 250, the show is able to pay for its own expenses because the show is expensive. Otherwise, though, follow and share us on social media. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All of those are at iReaditCast. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. That helps us increase visibility. Otherwise, you can send us stories as a few people did today. You can do that via email, which our email inbox is feedback.ireadit@gmail.com, or you can call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. You can find me on social media at Schwan Michael and Nathan Ed Bimmenstein, and that is your 302nd dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And I don't think I'm going to play the bit this time. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.